why does the case, Leo Frank case, still reverberate today? Obviously, you wrote a book about an event that happened so long ago, and it was a great success. And
thank you.
There have been TV programs on it and documentaries on it. Why? Why does it reverberate today?
I think in part it reverberates because it is so outlandishly dramatic that on Confederate Memorial Day, this symbolic holiday about a defeated nation, the American South, you would have a crime that would bring the conflict between modernity and the past so vividly into relief. And at the same point, on that same emotionally charged Confederate Memorial Day, that was the finale of the New York Metropolitan Opera's annual season in Atlanta, and Caruso was singing, and you had a real sense of Atlanta joining the world of modernity, and this was a backlash against that. And I think the polarities of the case are so strong, and they are really familiar to what's happening in America today. The day that Governor Slayton commuted Leo Frank's death sentence, Atlanta awakened to the news that the sentence had been commuted, and within hours, a mob had overrun the state capitol, had poured into the well of the state legislature and taken over the podium and given speeches. And later that same day, another mob of some 5,000 people marched out Peachtree Street, the main drag in Atlanta, from downtown to Buckhead, where the governor lived, with the intention of killing him. And because they were on foot, the governor had enough time to call out the National Guard, and they threw up a perimeter around the mansion, and he was saved. But just a sense of how quickly things can get out of hand, I think that is all foreshadowed in the Leo Frank case, and we see it again today, that we take a lot of things for granted about security and civility and civilization. Well, maybe we shouldn't take them for granted. They can be undermined a little more quickly than we might imagine. That's one reason. Another reason, the cases, like most cases at last, have a lot of ambiguity. And when I say cases, the Frank case is two cases. One is the murder of Mary Phagan, and the other is the lynching of Leo Frank. And what do we know and what do we not know? Both are open to constant investigation. And in fact, I just saw a documentary film last night that's coming out later this year that has some fascinating stuff about what happened to Frank's accuser, Jim Conley, who pretty much disappeared from the world in later years. Well, this film has footage of a graveyard outside of Atlanta where he may indeed have been buried. So it ties his story up in a way that I hadn't been able to do myself, and no one had been able to do. So there are little elements of it that just remain fascinating. It was like OJ or like the Lindbergh case, there were so many characters who had walk-on parts, and they were fascinating. It's also about the press, the power of the press. Atlanta had a Hearst newspaper that exacerbated the hostility and the drama, and then the New York Times and the respectable press got into this and exacerbated it in a different kind of way. And then the tabloid press, which would have been the Jeffersonian, the blogs, would be Breitbart News today, they got into it in an entirely different way. So you had consensus fracturing, and I always think that's another very dangerous thing that happens. We need some degree of agreed upon facts in order to operate in a civilized world. And in the Frank case, the facts, nothing was agreed upon. Everything was contested.